Hi everyone, welcome back to 33 Voices. I'm thrilled to be joined with the co-founder and CEO of Dinner Lab today. Thanks so much for joining us, Brian.
Thanks for having me, I appreciate it.
So ranging from 5-course meals on rooftops in New York City to all raw meals in New Orleans, you guys have recreated the culinary and social aspect of going out for a bite to eat. Brian, can you tell us how a social experiment that you started 2 years ago is now live in 19 cities and waitlisted in most of those?
I don't know if I could, if I'm smart enough to really kind of understand what kind of happened over the last year or two. But, what we tried to do was to bring people, to remove a lot of the trappings about how people experience food and how they choose to dine. And we kind of wanted to remove these stuffy environments that people didn't really enjoy being a part of. So we wanted to unbundle that process and really look at what made food enjoyable to us. And for the group that we were with, it was being able to interact with a really amazing cuisine and cuisine that we felt like was coming from a chef and their story and their background or what they were passionate about, and being around a great group of people. And that didn't necessarily involve knowing everyone that you were dining with, but just being around a really awesome group of people. So we tried to figure out an experience that was based off of that, and we kind of landed on most of what Dinner Lab is today.
So can you tell our users then, you can sign up for a membership in one of these cities, and then there's 2 events every week that you can attend if you choose to. Can you tell us about the process of finding out about events and surprise locations?
Yeah, so we send out, once someone signs up for a membership, we send out an email blast once a week. And that's usually detailing the events that are coming up, usually about 3 weeks out. So people can go onto the website. Once they get the email blast and they see the chef, their bio, the menu, the price point, we release everything a couple weeks out except for the location. Once they purchase, they're added to the guest list. Their dietary restrictions and all those things are recorded. And then a day before the event, we'll actually reveal the location in the city about where it'll be. And then people come and do what they do best, which is eat and drink.
Great. So, Brian, this has been a social experiment about how people interact. What have you learned about creating nostalgic experiences for people?
So I think, we try to get out of the way as much as possible. There are a lot of people over the past couple of years that have come to us and said, you guys should do conversational topics like healthcare or education reform and put them in the middle of the table. And what we've actually noticed over time is that when you're able to provide people a really relaxed environment and just provide the great ground conditions, that they're going to interact with one another in a great, simple way. So actually, a lot of our design is very simple, but it's actually very purposefully and very well thought through. We just really try to bring together people around a certain type of cuisine, and then they interact with each other. And we've been fortunate that we've been able to keep our brand relatively small, just a couple thousand people per city. And that's given us the ability to really, the people who are finding us and kind of seeking out our brand are mostly coming through referrals. So we started with really good people and they refer us to other really good people. And that's how a lot of people find out. I would say probably about 75% of the people who actually become Dinner Lab members find out about us through other members. So that's a really great way for us to ensure that our experiences and that people are kind of interacting with one another in a really genuine way. And we're really fortunate that our demographic spans age from 21 to, in their 70s. So there really aren't many opportunities in the normal world where you get to interact with people who are, 20 years older or younger than you, unless they're your parents. So that's been a really cool thing, is to bring people together around food, and have it be these sort of amalgamations of groupings that you wouldn't really see in the normal world, and if you're just at these isolated tables in restaurants. So that's been really cool for us.
Great. So let's talk about the chefs for a second. Can you tell us what it's like? So if I just purchase my ticket, what's it going to be like when I go to my Dinner Lab experience?
So it's typically people are checked in at the door. We operate as a private membership-based organization. So if you are a guest, you have to sign a waiver because we're typically preparing our foods in locations that are not, restaurants. They're helipads and warehouses and things of that nature. And then once you go, we have a happy hour, which usually features a signature cocktail and a mocktail for those who don't drink. And it's a great way to interact with other diners. And then dinner service will start. It'll usually be a seating of 60 people. Sometimes we do multiple seatings in a night. And the chef will come out and explain the menu, why it's important to him or her, what they were thinking, and kind of walk you through that experience. And then we literally serve dinner and drink. There's some usually good music playing. Occasionally we'll have some live music there as well. But we really like to focus on the food. And then at the actual experience, each diner is given a feedback card. And that feedback card is each course broken down, and the diner gets to rate each of those courses based on 5 or 6 different criteria, and then we aggregate all that information and give it to the chef so that they can actually get better at what they do.
So how is that data curation helping empower chefs in such a competitive industry?
Well, there's not really, it's so funny because a lot of people look at the culinary industry, and it is a creative endeavor for sure. But there's not really a great mechanism in place currently anywhere to get information from the consumer, the guest who's dining at a restaurant or a dinner lab experience, to the person producing it. So we don't really do anything except aggregate information and then hand it to the chef. So we're just basically a messenger for what consumers are saying. And I think it's, people's tastes change so often that it's really hard to predict and keep up with. And we're just trying to arm them with information based on, instead of saying, let's do a high-end Italian cuisine, they're coming forward with concepts that they care about and that they're passionate about. And then we're telling them what consumers think about it. So somewhere between what's insanely creative and different and what's commercially viable, somewhere in the middle of all that is magic. And that's what we're ultimately looking for.
And you guys, in addition, have your Dinner Lab chef tour where you went to 10 cities. Can you explain that to us? Yeah,
so we took our top-ranking chefs and said, let's really hone in on this data conversation, and we gave them the opportunity to cook in multiple cities. So they came in and started preparing food across all the cities that we operate. And the idea being is that in each city they're collecting information and feedback so that they can continue to iterate their menu offering as they go through. And the idea being that we can take 1 or 2 of those concepts at the end of this and actually launch out an independent restaurant.
So is that still going on, or have you guys finished that up?
No, we have a couple of weeks left with that.
Great. And which cities are those going to be in?
Those are in the following. They're in New York, DC, Atlanta, Nashville, Miami, New Orleans, Austin, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Chicago, DC.
Great. No, that's perfect. So before we tell people how to sign up, as a diner, what's your favorite experience been?
I tend to really like the more simple, elegant spaces. So we typically look for, chefs that are aspirational in nature. That's, chefs that are sort of aiming and angling to be somewhere that they're not today. They're typically a number 2 or 3 at a restaurant, and they want to be a head chef eventually. So I really like the spaces that sort of reflect that story as well. So a lot of times we've done, churches that are being remodeled. Those can always be really special for me because the story of the space is actually different, sort of analogous to the story of the chef.
And then can you also give our users a little bit of a indication of the type of food they might be coming to get, because it's pretty unique what you guys are doing?
Yeah, so it really runs the gamut. I wish we could say we were always doing X or Y. It's really what we look to do is to provide a platform for the chef to kind of share what they're passionate about and what they care about. So that could be something like Central American, someone's like doing Central Mexican cuisine, which is like their grandmother's recipes, and then we have other chefs that were born in Thailand that are doing Thai cuisine. And we really run all across the sort of spectrum of what people want to do. The only thing that we ask our chefs to do is to prepare food that's important to them and tells a story, and then we go from there.
And the menu is different every time?
Every time.
Great. So I'm going to be counting down until I'm old enough to sign up in San Diego, unless you guys can give me a sneak pass.
We may be able to give you a sneak pass as long as you promise not to drink.
Promise. But how can people sign up in Dinner Labs in 19 cities?
So right now you can go onto the website, just dinnerlab.com, and then it has all the information on membership and how to sign up and future events and things like that.
Great. Thank you so much, Brian.
Thank you.